Welcome to the Tub Thumpers. 41 of the Tub Thumpers tonight. We've got a lovely lad on tonight. I've been dying to it because I've been on little things with the gentleman tonight, but I've never had a proper chat with him. So I'm looking forward to tonight. How are you, Si?
Great. And do you know what? Even though that intro goes on a little bit too long, it's a bit of a clientele there, isn't there?
Yeah.
You know, and it carries on tonight, doesn't it? It carries on.
Hey, before we get our guest on, did you watch the Oscars last weekend?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, did you see this part? No, not that part. Did you see this part?
Sorry now. I don't know. Bloody cold. I gotta be quiet. Oh my God, 5 o'clock in the morning. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Absolute acting ability.
Not a bad show, was it? Best Oscars. But anyway, tonight, GrindHead Jim. Awesome. There he is.
Have you sucked me head on Sean Bean's body? Is that who that is?
No, that would be King Arthur.
That would be King Arthur.
Oh, from Excalibur? From the movie Excalibur?
From Excalibur.
Yeah.
It's been a minute.
Good old Jim's here. Good old Jim. You know what? Having Jim here just makes me want to dance, does it not you?
Oh, yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, Mr. Postman. Hey, Mr. Postman, look and see. Oh, yeah. Please, Mr. Postman.
Brilliant. Good old GrindHead here. Let's see who else is here. We've got the Universal Toy Collector. Our Stu's here. Our Kieran's here. Our Mr. B's here. Let's have a look who else. Whoa, look at this. Right, I need to ask you a question, Jim. So you're single, you're in a bar. We ask every guest this every week. You're single, you're in a bar, yeah? And a girl says, oh, you know, you're really nice. And we've got so much in common. By the way, what's your name? Would you or would you not use the name Ricardo?
Like to shine somebody on? No, I would not.
Why? It's a cool name.
Why would I not use Ricardo?
Yeah,
first of all, have you seen me? First of all, is this Ricardo?
You never know.
I mean, now granted, I'm not. When most people hear the term Ricardo, most people probably think of Ricardo from Ricky and Lucy and Lucille Ball and stuff. At least from my generation, anyway. Our generation, sure. And I'm not going to be like, Lucy, you have lots of explaining to do. I'm not that kind of guy, right? So first of all, no. So I just don't think the imagery's there. You know,
everyone, the majority of people said no.
Yeah, it's not a particular like. First of all, I don't like lying to people as a chat up line. I have led way too multifaceted a life to lie to someone when I'm chatting to them. Okay, it's like you went through all this shit for the last 47, almost 48 years. You don't need to lie. You've got too much fun stories, trauma, and frankly, physical scars to not just tell the truth. That's just me, though.
I think me, I can relate. You definitely relate to that. Hello, Mr. Whitehouse. So good old Scott's here. Good old Martin's here. Hello, Martin. Good old Gerard is here. The lovely Chasing 80s, Mr. Chris Mira is here. Look at this. Over 50 people already. This is awesome. Then Beb Bear, let's see who else is here. Our Des is here. Brilliant. Look at him. Here he is. Have you heard about our Des GrindHead?
What, a recent news I may not know?
Well, no, it apparently does a lot of leaning. I'll show you.
Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry
that, Jim? Years of leaning. Years of leaning.
Yeah,
You know
good
what I
old
mean?
leaning hips does. Good old
Taking it
leaning
easy.
hips.
Up his ear, hey, ups. Everybody's come and seen on GrindHead. Look at this. Let's have a look who else is here. God, there's been thousands of him here. Thousands of him. Let's have a look. Chasing 80s. We said hello to. Hello, Clur's here.
Cool, sir.
GJC's here.
Maybe.
Mr. B. Good old Goji Tron is here. Hello, Goji Tron. Look at this. Our Fuller's here. Hi, Connor. Wow, man. Cat Knight's here. Everybody's turned up for Jim. Look at this. Gaz is here. Hi, Gaz. Now, if you don't know who GrindHead Jim is, tonight we're going to learn a lot about GrindHead Jim, but the link to the lovely GrindHead Jim's YouTube channel is in the description below. So you're more than welcome to press that button and go and see our Jim piss and moan about all sorts of things.
Yeah, and the thing is, if you can't remember that, or you forget to click the link and you're like, oh shit, just go to grindheadjim.com/YouTube, take you right there.
Look at that. He's a professional. You know what I mean? I was always here. Mr. McGuire is here. Wow, everybody's turned up. Everybody's here. Let me see if I can get any more names. Wow, so many people to say hello to. Yeah, Connor's loving it.
That's why I just say hello and leave it sit, because it's like I'm
That's
never
what I
going to get
do,
everybody. Yeah.
I just say tip of the cap to all in chat, and that's me saying hello to everybody.
Good old Keith. Keith here. Good old Donut. I'll be on Donut Donuts on Saturday talking computer games. So I'll have to work out what to talk about, but I think it'll be pretty good. Rogues Gallery's here. Yeah, you're exactly right. Let me just try and get down here as fast as I can, so then we can say hello to everybody. Thank you,
my
Lauren.
wife.
Well, Lauren, what a nice thing to say. Oh, cheers, Lauren. Well, it's nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. Like I said, I've wanted to talk to your fella for ages. He's so glad he's here. But me and Si have got questions to ask you. So here is 20 rapid fire rounds for our GrindHead Jim. Right, Simon. So you're more than welcome to ask. It's either or, Jim. So it's this or this. Which one's your favourite? I go.
Yeah, one answer. Question from each. I'll go first. Mr. Jim, rain or snow?
Rain.
Oh, rain.
Yep.
Jim.
I got to shovel rain.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, me and Si are up north, so we're can't think of a day where it's sunshine, can you, Si? So rain's a good answer. Batman or Spider-Man?
Spider-Man, hands down.
Spider-Man. Why hands down, Jim?
Because I relate to him more than I do Batman in many, many ways. Spider-Man, Peter Parker's Spider-Man taught me a lot about when things are at their worst, that's when it's time to step up. That's not time to give up. That was a big thing I took away as a kid. Plus, the theme song was better at the time. So,
Spider-Man, yeah. Right, Si.
Jim, tie or no tie?
No tie. T-shirts all day, baby. Every day.
Jim, burger or steaks?
Oh,
steaks.
Now think of where we are. We're in the States. You rushed it. Think of those burgers, Jim.
Nope. I can cook a burger and I can cook a steak, and I'm really good at both. But the steaks that we make here at home, I would eat them every day.
All right, Si.
Jim, Linda Carter or Victoria Principal?
Oh. No, he has to think of that one, Si. Principal.
I gotta go Linda Carter. I gotta go Linda Carter for longevity, because she is just she gets better with age.
Yeah, she
you know
does.
What I mean?
Yeah. Makes you feel weird. It's like banging one of the Golden Girls, isn't it?
Hey, look, I'm older than most of the Golden Girls were in that show. So
I know. I thought the other day, I was like, "What? Yeah. Oh my goodness!"
Jim, jeans or shorts?
Shorts. And that was no matter where. I've lived all over this country. I lived in the Midwest for about 16 years, and would routinely get negative 30, 40 Fahrenheit, which is like, I don't even know what that is Celsius. Frankly, I'm a product of the American public education system, but so far below freezing, you just can't feel it anymore. And I would routinely walk through my parking lot at work with cargo shorts. And I have a hoodie on up top, but cargo shorts down to the knee. And I remember one time it got down to like negative 55. And I went, okay, maybe it's time to put on a pair of jeans. So I put on a pair of jeans and I go into work. And someone who I barely ever talk to, someone I just have a passing like hello with, goes, Jim, are you okay? I'm like, yeah. And I goes, why? She goes, you're wearing pants. You never wear pants. I was like, well, every man's got his limits, you know.
I think I've only worn them once since I've been back here. That's what my wife made. You know what I mean? Right, Si, what's your next one?
Jim, chocolate or gummy sweets?
Ooh, that's tough. If I really had to pick one, I'd say chocolate because it's more versatile. Even though I love both equally.
That's a nice question. You've lived everywhere.
This shirt is available on Amazon right now. It's an official thing. Seriously, it is. It's out there.
He's unavailable. There you go, Reynolds. You can get it right there. Jim, East Coast or West Coast?
Oh, okay. So I'm biased because I'm from the East Coast. I have more experience on the East Coast. However, I've had many opportunities to go back, and I just have chosen not to. So this is gonna be weird, even for me to say it out loud. But I'm gonna say West Coast because it has more on offer for me that I haven't yet seen or done. Plus, we're moving to the West Coast in a few months, so it bears well to say West Coast.
Well, there you are, Si. What do you think to that? You know who else is from the West Coast?
You know how we do it. West side. Coming from the west side. Nothing but the west side.
Yeah, VTR coming from the West side.
Hood of Reading.
The Hood of Reading.
Nice.
That's where he's from.
Hood of Reading.
Go on, Si.
Jim, would you rather own a plane or a yacht?
Probably a plane. Probably a plane. Because a boat, I got to learn stuff. I got to do math I'm not wanting to do. And it feels weird to hire someone to drive your boat. But if you have a plane and you're not already a pilot, it's not a big deal to hire a pilot. And plus, probably more range, more flexibility. Go with a plane.
Nice. Jim, very important question. Everton or Liverpool?
I'm going to go with this answer only because many of the bands that I'm a big fan of are from there. Liverpool.
Yeah. Oh, well, you're so wrong, Jim. It was actually Everton. It was a trick question, Jim. It's always Everton. It always will be Everton.
Hey, look, I'll when it comes to traditional football or rugby, I'll watch any good footy as long as they're hitting the shit out of each other. Like I love that stuff. If I had better access to that, I'd watch it all the time.
Oh, well, you'll love Everton because they play football like they've got clogs on. So you'll love Everton.
Brilliant. Go on, Si, what's your next one?
Rebels or Empire?
Empire.
Same as you, Si.
They got a better fashion consultant. That's all there is to it. I had a Darth Vader outfit, a Ben Cooper Darth Vader suit when I was a kid. And I kept it and wore it like 3 years in a row. And anytime company would come over, I'd go upstairs, I'd put on a hoodie. So I cover the back of my head with the mask and have gloves on, the whole thing. And I would just walk around with my lightsaber and just act like I was Darth Vader all day long. Like Empire all day long. They got the best music. They got the best look. Empire, baby.
Got the best music. Brilliant, Jim. Well, that comes on to the next one. Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars by, I would say, about a 10% margin. A big fan of both.
Nice. Yeah.
And but Star Wars, I was born the day before A New Hope premiered in theaters. I literally have grown up with Star Wars. And then Star Trek was something I inherited from my dad. We really both got into TNG when it came out. In fact, just recently, it's over there, I just received a Star Wars Next Generation Bridge playset in the box. So I've got a lot of Star Trek stuff. It's not out yet, but I love that stuff quite a bit. But Star Wars will always be number one in my heart.
Always. Wow. Si.
Jim, British food or Chinese food?
Ooh.
Chinese. Chinese.
Said that a bit quick, Jim. Tell you the truth, didn't think about it, did
I
you?
will eat Chinese every day if I could. Ask my wife; she'll tell you.
Yeah, but what about black pudding and a proper English breakfast and fried bread and proper bacon and sausages, stuff like that?
Okay, beans are not
Yeah.
something one should consume before noon.
Oh,
Ever.
Side controversy on Tub Thumpers tonight. Side controversy. Telling you what.
And Connor, I can use the subs. I lost a few after that one video we shall not talk about.
Liked it. I just love your thumbnail.
Because I was legitimately upset, but then I realized, as I said in my stream yesterday, I realized I'm way more angry in this video than I actually was about the thing. I've had a bad week. I picked the wrong week to record that video because I was just I was hate fucking the camera with what I was saying, and I really felt bad about it after the fact because people were just like taking it wrong, and it was clear to me. I was like, you went too far. You went a little too far. I've unlisted the video because I'm like, I don't need to lose any more subscribers over this one-off. It's not that big a deal.
What did your missus say? When you make videos like that, and obviously you come off, did your missus sat there going, "Oh, you had something to say, Jim?" Or, you know?
She defended me. She was like, "No, you were just showing a lot of passion." I said, "Yeah, but I was really pissed, and I wasn't really that pissed about what I was talking about. I really wasn't that pissed. So it was an exercise.
I'm going to have to go back and watch this video. What video is this? I'm going to have to go back and watch this. I think. The latest one.
Yeah, and it's unlisted. I'll send you a link after. It's unlisted. So it's about the Troop Builder 4-pack, and I was just like, why are we getting this when they didn't show anything at the toy fair? They've leaked this, and they haven't shown this. Vintage, and I went kind of nuts.
The way we are.
Jim, Conan or Highlander?
Oh, that's a Conan, easy.
Oh, but there can only be one, Jim.
Right,
Jim,
it's Conan.
When you're on a ladder, do you prefer climbing or climbing down?
I prefer staring at it and then deciding fuck this, and I call somebody and I tell them to climb a ladder. But definitely, but I would say if I had to pick, climbing up is easier for me.
Yeah,
climbing up, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Jim, old school or new school?
Yes, but old school. Typically old school.
Got to be, Annie, really. Yeah.
Jim, Pac-Man or Space Invaders?
I gotta go Pac-Man. But Miss Pac-Man if I have a choice with the mod chip that speeds it up. Yeah.
Keith Knight says, GrindHead Jimbo, my rhythm section brother. Sounds a bit dodgy there. The backbone and heartbeat of all bands. Look at that. Brilliant.
Yeah. Notice he didn't say any other body parts.
Well, we're all about computer games. All right. I'll look forward to it. I will. It'll be good, Mark. We'll have a good time. Jim, AC/DC or Metallica?
Metallica all day. Because here's the thing. I have often said that, because you're talking to somebody who professionally in a death metal band we're routinely doing 250 BPMs plus 16th notes just, and I always was like, if you look at like per capita, right? So if I'm doing AC/DC's drummer's doing 4/4 and maybe 80, 120 BPM tops, and he's playing roughly the same beat every song for the most part, and that guy's getting paid about couple grand for every hit. Meanwhile, I'm doing thousands of hits per song and I'm making pennies on the dollar. So Metallica, I just grew up with more. I skipped a lot. Like I don't like the Beatles.
Whoa!
I don't like the Beatles.
What's going on?
I respect the Beatles. I don't like them. My big one from that era, my biggest band from that close to that era would be like Queen, Hawkwind, Motorhead, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, awesome.
I don't even like Black Sabbath that much either, so it evens out.
Just subbed. Thanks for the link. They are well done, Mr. B. You'll like our Jim.
Thank you.
Like our Jim's channel. It's good.
And Jim, the last question for me this week is Orko or Cringer?
That's a tough one. I got to go with Cringer because if I get annoyed with him, I can just turn him into Battle Cat. With Orko, you're just stuck with him.
Yeah, doing magic on you.
Yeah, plus I like cats. Yeah.
And the last one from me, Jim, Transformers or GoBots?
Transformers all day long. I did not know, but apparently, at least in Texas, I don't know if other places this was the perception. But my buddies in the Game Chasers, they and all their friends growing up felt that like GoBots were like the poor people's Transformers, which I never, at no point in my coming up at that time, no one made fun of anyone for having GoBots. We would be like, well, why didn't you get a Transformer?
I didn't know that until I got older, that they were the cheaper ones. When you were kids, you just lived with all Transformers.
And think about it, because again, one thing I think for children that was difficult to extrapolate, because we're used to Star Wars figures and He-Man figures were like $2-3 a pop, 4 at the most, maybe. Yeah. And you get into GoBots and Transformers, the price point starts at around $3 and goes way up. And then G1, you didn't have as many of the smaller bots as you did in the second wave. I think they realized, okay, we need a bit more of the smaller things so the kid can pick up the impulse buy.
He knows his stuff, Si. He knows his stuff. Question for Smith Lord says, size question of the week. If my brother collects dolls, does that mean he loves cock? I tell you what, you buy one gem doll. You buy one gem doll.
Well, here's
the answer to that question is yes.
Well, I would argue that any man who's ever masturbated with any regularity also loves cock. Just his own that moment. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Hi, Palpatine's here, but brilliant. Let's have a look. Let's just get down here a little bit more. Well, I have to be a gentleman and say hello back. Well, that's very nice of you, Connor. Connor gets frustrated, Jim, that he has to say hello to everybody. You ever done that? When you go into live streams and everyone's saying hello to each other. You feel bad though, don't you? It's like,
I haven't done that since Iconicon 22. Like that's when I was like, fuck this. I'm just saying I got about halfway through the event and I just went, hi everybody. That's it. Because by then you either know me or you don't, and it's like, okay, like when you're at a real live convention, right, or like a town hall meeting or something, whatever it is, where there's a gathering of people, concert, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you say hello to every motherfucker in there? No, you do not. You just say, "Hey, I'm here," and then you fuck off and get your beer, your joint, or whatever you're doing.
Jim, Shabby or Si? It's all right, Jim. You can say me.
That's a horrible question. No, I would say both. Both. I know you better than I know Si.
Yeah.
So I have to go with you on that. Only on the basis of I don't have enough information to figure out why Si is better than you. I'm sure he is. I just don't know why.
He isn't. And I should have really asked this question after this. So this is the part of the show, Jim, where you might just change your mind.
Yeah, here we go.
So, Si, what is the question of the week?
My question of the week this week involves American romance, right? Because when I was a kid growing up, right, if you ever wanted to like woo the girls and stuff, there'd always be like a scene in American movies where somebody would be outside the window and he'd be a teen boy and he'd either have like a ghetto blaster, a boombox, or he'd playing a song, or he'd be singing a song. So Mark's lived there 20 years, and obviously, Jim, you're American. So my question to you is, one, does that happen? If it does, did you ever do it? And if you didn't, but you had to, what song would you sing to woo that lady out to the window?
I'm sure it happens, or it has happened. And I'm sure in all those cases, the police were called. I've never done it. I was a mixtape guy. I would make mixtapes of things that I would communicate through the music by. Like I would go really nuts, make sure that the songs fit together. I was like a proper radio programmer, right? And did the whole tape up to where there was like a vibe, so it would show them what I was thinking, not just of them, but the world in general. Like, can you get into this sort of a thing? And I was a mixtape making motherfucker. And that was my thing. Now, if I had to do that in today's day and age, first of all, I'd have a lot of explaining to do to my wife.
Yeah.
Let's suppose, for the sake of this scenario, that I'm apologizing to my wife.
Oh no! Well, you're young, Jim. You're Jim at 16. The girl.
Oh, Jim at 16. Okay.
You wanted to come to the window.
Yeah,
What
but
song?
All right.
What
Well,
was
that's the thing.
playing?
Now you've put
Yeah.
now you've put a year on it, so I have to think about what was available at the time. So
Yeah.
16 for me would have been do the math. All right, hang on. 13, 93? 93. So 93. Oh, I would probably probably a Sepultura song at that point. Probably would have been like Desperate Cry or something, just because it was heavy. You know, I'd get to stand there longer. Yeah, we'll do Sepultura, Desperate Cry, because that's like an opus for them.
Oh, I was just
Right,
thinking
Enoch,
about
what would your song be? What would your be?
Man Without Love by Engelbert Humperdinck.
Oh.
Think about it. Every time I wake up, then I start these awesome song. Do you know what I mean? Lonely is a man without love.
Well, that's a lot better than a Brazilian yelling in broken English about the government oppression of Brazil. But you know,
I was just thinking what you were saying about arguing with your wife. I can imagine, and at the end of it, she'll go on, "Stop calling yourself Ricardo." I don't know, but it's funny that side, because especially when my kids went to school, and because American high schools, to me, side are exactly what we remember as kids when watching all these movies. Like you watch your team up and all that, you see these rows and rows of lockers and huge basketball court. You know what I mean? And and it's funny, it's dead nerdy, but I'll tell everybody this: every time one of my kids started a new school, I'd video it and send it to Si. I was more excited about the skills than they were, because I was like, "Look at this, it's cool." Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, brilliant.
Because we grew up with American skills, didn't we? In all the movies.
Yeah, we did. Can I say hello to Jim Largo's Lairs here?
Jim.
Giraffes here. Loads of people have come and seen blooming Jim. Look at this. Here we go. Neither Orko and Cringer are evil, Jim.
There you go.
I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion, Giraffe.
He has a point there. They both like really play with dark magic, don't they? It's transforming and
well, they play with dark magic. They're trying to do the right thing. So, like, if someone's really trying to do the right thing for the right reasons, can they ever be truly said to be evil? No, they can be said to be clumsy and stupid. You know, so that's different. You know, like Thanos, he was trying to do the right thing for the right reasons, but it is completely misguided method, right? But his base ideology of we have to fix this problem because if not, we're all going to die. I'm like, I'm with you. Then he goes, but we'll do it by killing half of everybody. I'm like, nah, let's not do that. Whereas Cringer's like, I'm going to beat up Skeletor by turning into something 5 times my size in an enclosed space. Did you do the measurements of the room you were in before you did it? Yeah. Because I always wonder, like, what if he like, does that transformation work if Cringer's far away from him? Right. So, like, let's say that Prince Adam's out, in town, outside in town square, but Cringer's having a wank in the broom closet back in Eternos.
Yeah.
And he goes, by the power of Grayskull. And then Cringer's, he's like inside the closet with his dick out, like, fuck, now what do I do? Does he bust the closet? Does he like get on the sofa and like, hey, mate, turn back just to fuck?
Yeah, is there like a distance to that power beam, or is it like because he's no, and then he blasts it and then Cringer's just there, isn't he?
Because no matter where He-Man is, he can do it. So you would assume, making an ass out of you and me, that it translates to Cringer. You never know.
So there's not a lot of Beatles fans here. Look at that. Yeah, Beatles are pretty overrated. Not a Beatles fan. Look at that.
Yeah. Wow. And here's part of my justification behind that is that the Beatles were Lemmy Kilmister from Motorhead's favorite band. He's like, they're perfect. I'm like, okay. And he liked a lot of stuff that I also liked as a kid, like a lot of oldies, like Little Richard and surf stuff and things like that. But to him, the Beatles were like perfect. I'm like, if that's his favorite band, and because of this, I get Motorhead. Well, I like Motorhead a lot, so I can respect the Beatles vicariously without having to hear, I want to hold your hand. I don't need to hear that shit.
Hey, Gap. Are you all right, Gap? Look at that. I've gone right off GrindHead Jim and Martin. Oh, well, there you are. You see this? Does anyone ever pick GoBots over track? I don't know.
Well, Tonka, I'm sure Tonka did.
I think I
Let
asked
me ask you about
because
something, Mark.
Yeah,
Did the GoBots make Transformers size Transformers? Because when
well,
I
they were
think of
Transformers.
GoBots, I always think of them like the two-part just bump.
Well,
the
they
little
had
car.
the
sizes.
I
they
don't
had
ever
a
think
Super
of like a
Deluxe that was
Megatron
about
or an Optimus or.
GoBots had two different sizes. They had like the little guy, and then they had a few of them came in big ones. Like the Porsche came in a larger size, and Leader One came in a larger size. So it was about Voyager scale ish,
Right.
and a lot of them were die cast. So they were cheaper, but there was also a lot of like that Tonka beefiness to them too.
Yeah, you could whack them
I
together.
get it. But I suppose Goldie Chon's kind of right though. If your mum showed you a GoBot or Soundwave, you got to go home. They are. Gaps explained it. This is a car. Thanks, Gap. I appreciate
Well,
that.
that's what I would do. I would say, what, Jim, I didn't see any poorish in these figures. I would just say that the Transformers were just cooler and had a bit more personality than what the GoBots did in a sense.
Right.
Because, you go back to your 80s childhood and it's the Transformers that have lived with me forever. The GoBots haven't, so.
Well, Giraffe says here, side GoBots have that die-cast heft. They beat waffle plastic formers. Die-cast Transformers rules, though. They do, though, don't they? Yes. Well, yeah. I agree. It's the same thing. Crazy's here. Are you crazy? Oh, it's packed. It is packed. See what happens, Si, when you get eye candy on, Si? See what happens? Do you know what I mean? If this side doesn't ask my question again, he's missing the trick.
Well, what question have you asked?
You might lose your mind with the question of the week. It was a good question. What would you do, Si? What would your romantic song be in the 80s for wooing?
When I was school in 1992,
Right.
it'd obviously be Wu-Tang Clan ain't nothing to fuck with. Easy, you know what I mean?
Works, right? That's very romantic, Simon. Very romantic.
Did you hear that they're doing a reunion final tour?
He's well on for it here. Yeah, he's a big fan. What else have you got?
Yeah.
What's your other tattoo? You got the Saint Simon Templar tattoo. I know you've got that.
I've got my Brom Spider, which
Your Brom Spider, yeah, Bri Brom, yeah.
13 is my lucky number.
Yeah.
I've got another one down here. She's like,
so let's see. Let's see. So we're getting to the part where all these lads now are telling us about their romantic songs. I'm making Martin a mixtape for Echo. It's all Nirvana. Very nice.
As long as it's the first two albums, I'm on board for that.
Mixtape Romantic Jim was his name back then. Look at that. Brilliant.
No, man. I mean, in 93, maybe, because 95 is when I got the nickname. Someone gave me that name of GrindHead Jim. So we're right outside
Where
of
did it come from then? GrindHead Jim. Where did it come from, Jim?
So by that point I was playing in like local shows and stuff. I was a drummer of a couple different bands. And in our circle in the Pittsburgh area, more so than almost any other city I've been to, you get a little bit of this in every scene, but in Pittsburgh and that surrounding suburb area, every type of band played with every other type of band. So you'd have like a death metal band, an indie rock band, a punk band, a hardcore band, industrial dance, like what you would call now, I guess, synth wave, like all of it. And we were all friends. We were all into the same music because we all listened to everything. And then everywhere else I've been since, the metal guys are like, I only listen to metal. I'm like, well, then you don't know how to write music. That was always my thing. and it used to drive people spare. Like, and I'll come back to that. But back then there was this indie rock band called Crank Radio. They also had a secret grindcore band called Double Whammy Butt Burrito Brigade, which was great. And they all played in masks and they talked shit about all their other bands while under the mask. So they created this feud, which is really brilliant. I later played in the band and wore an outfit that was way too hot. But the guitarist vocalist, Adam, from that band would call me Grindhead because he says, of everyone I've ever known in my relatively short life, no one likes grindcore from Britain more than you do. And, and that's where it started, arguably. And I was like, you're right. Like blast beats all the time or nothing. And he would, and they just called me that. Everyone started calling me that. And so, when the internet became more of a thing, and that was the first name that I put out there, and I've kept it ever since.
I love it to pieces. Now, let me ask you another question. Mixtapes. This is for both of you. When you're making a mixtape, is the mixtape songs you like, or are you thinking of the songs that she would like?
I would have to say that for me, It's about communicating what I'm into in a way and then a format that would be palatable to the listener. Because what's the point of giving someone a list of songs they already like and probably already have? You're trying to express yourself to another person to bring them closer to you. So you want to project, here's what I like, things in a way that I think you'll like it, that'll pull you towards me. Whereas I can just kind of like do like, what's the checklist, right? With songs and expression, I think it's very different than any other, like, here, I'm going to make you your favorite meal. That's different, but you still would cook it the way you would cook it, right? Like if your favorite is steak, I have a certain way that I season the steak, right? Well, the mixtape, you don't have that luxury. You can't do, I'm going to remix the entire thing. You're not going to do that in 1993. So I definitely say, like, you have to bridge the gap by way of showing a piece of your soul through the music. Follow that side.
Follow that side.
Well, like I said, you know, it was. I found a lot of an easier way, and I didn't bother with mixtapes and just got a bottle of vodka instead. It just seemed to do the same job.
See, you're common criminal right there. Common criminal.
Cass says, "Still of the Night" by Whitesnake. I'd win her over with that badass guitar solo. Nice, guys.
There's nothing about Whitesnake that's badass. Nothing. Nothing.
Jim, you need to make a mixtape of Gem songs for Shabby.
Okay, only if I could resurrect Seth Putnam and have the band Anal Cunt do the songs in their version. There you go.
You choose Josh Retreat, best album ever.
Arguable.
What's your favourite U2 album, Mark? I think my favourite U2 album has got to be A Tongue Baby. I think that's got to be my favourite.
I'm trying to work out which one did I throw in the bin first? Which U2 album did I? I'm not a fan of U2. I don't mind them. You know what it is? It's not like I don't mind the music, right? It's like you have to like them. You have to like them. It's like when you say, "Oh, I'm not really that bothered." People look at you like you've had a. You know what I mean? So it's like you have to like them. I don't mind them, but listen, play "Flash" by Queen. They are
okay. I'll call and raise on that one. Okay, if you're gonna play something off the Flash Gordon soundtrack for like to win somebody over, you want to do Freddie's vocal solo for like when Aura is like wooing Flash, like resurrecting him and stuff. Like
she was my first crusher, Jim. Did you know that? Princess Aurora from.
I still have a crush on her. Shit.
Anyway,
still is. Oh,
God, she was. I tell you. Jim Largo Lair says, "Gem is true that she is." Exactly right, Mr. Largo. Relaxed by Frankie Goes to Hollywood, says Kieran. Look at this.
Good one.
Shabby, are you going to do cosplay at Joe Fest? Gem with glitter and shimmery costume. You buy one doll, Si. One. Do you know what I mean? I've got another one coming, but I'm just saying you buy one. And then this is. I'm not sure Relax would send the right message, Kieran. Yeah, actually, you've got a point there. Although saying that Push by Bros was pretty awesome. I hope you didn't play that in that car for 24 hours. Berry would have battered him. Can you imagine?
Did they ever crack America, Bros? Were they ever big in America?
I never heard of him over here, Si. The Sex Lives of Masters of the Universe characters. Oh my God, language, Jim, all that swearing. Look at Gap. He's... Somehow I always knew Cringer was in the closet. Okay, Kev. What about Smack Your Bitch Up by The Prodigy? Won't really work on a mixtape, would it? Really? Our Steve says, went to a pub that had a jukebox.
Kink.
Went to a pub that had a jukebox, which claimed it had every record. It did. When the Wurzels combined on the Super my choice. Very happy. Landlord turned it down. I lost my 50p. Brilliant. Hey, the Melville, I want to hold your hand for the win. They are one Beatles fan. They are.
I'm going to burn your bags, Melvor. I'm going to burn them.
The Beatles are just before my time. My parents didn't really listen to them as my kids, so my go-to was Nirvana. Similar songs and slightly bigger than the Beatles.
I mean, that's arguable.
Plenty of controversy tonight's stream.
Yeah, there we go. Melville says Kurt was a big Beatles fan as well. They are.
He was a bigger fan of Celtic Frost, though. So, just saying.
Love the Beatles. Look at this. Just reminded myself that the Nirvana video in Bloom was a takeoff of a Beatles live performance. Was it? I never knew that.
Yep. Yeah, that probably wasn't their idea, though.
Let's have a look. Love Pearl Jam. A lot of Pearl Jam fans in here. When did it? turned into Desert Island Discs. Don't let him fool you. He's really Grinding McGrindison, international man of mystery, lover of tight jumps and loose morals.
There you go.
How does that feel, baby? Yeah, okay.
Tape over it, Gap. Look at that. Georgie's partial to. Oh, no. Even I'm not really.
Fuck!
Oh, Stu, man. Stu's dying to get his blooming batting. Wait till she sees that. Got to jet, guys. I've been up since dickhead o'clock. No problem, Chris. We'll see you soon. Anyway, what happens in the car stays in the car. Ross never made it to America, says Donny Si. Never made it.
No,
Never made it.
I was one, yeah.
Oh, was a great song on a mixtape. Yeah, very nice. Golditron, I bought a gem shop. Real men securing their masculine. You see, this is my thing. Kind of guy.
Yeah, same. And the thing is with Gem, like if there were two box sets, that one was Gem and the holograms, and there's a box set of the Misfits, like 100% buying them because and just leave them in the box.
Yeah. No, I've always said it to the lads, and it was one of my oldest. We had a big department store when me and Siler. We lived at a seaside resort, and they had this huge department store when we were kids, Jim. And they had this massive display, and every Christmas they'd fill it with toys and whatever. And you know what it was like when we were kids for toys; they'd go all out. Okay. Well, the two I remember vividly when I'm talking about, I was about 10 or 11. Is the Star Wars one and the Gem and the Holograms one, and it just looked awesome. All these pinks and neons and in this massive. So he just got me as a kid. I just thought that's awesome, you know. And I just watched the documentary recently, and I didn't realize that most of the stories that were written for Gem were also written for G.I. Joe. Same writers and so forth. So I thought, yeah, this is brilliant. So
Sunbow had their fingers in a lot of pies at that time, for sure.
Look at it, just trying to convince yourself. My other favorite band is New Kids on the Block, Step by Step. Oh baby, Gab.
Okay, first of all, that's not a band. Those are singers.
Oh, there's a difference. Look at that. Anything by Hugh Glazers, whatever you spell that, would probably do well on a mixtape, even though you won't have a clue what he's singing about. Well, he's speaking about the language of love, Donut Donny. Language of love. Largo, more like a G.I. Joe crossover with a gem called Glitter Attack. Nice, that's the way you did that. It was getting lonely. Play some romantic clap work. Brilliant. Well, I actually got down to the chat now. So we've asked our questions, Si, about Jim, and do you think you found a lot more out, Si, about Jim?
Oh, a lot more this week than I ever knew.
Well, the other thing as well, Si, you've been scouring the internet for the photos. Now, like we say every week, these are real photos that we've sourced and found of Jim. So let's learn a bit more about our Jim. There you go. So you didn't realize.
All right, the Lock, Stock, and the Crow. I'm like, all right, nice. I love Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels so much.
Oh,
if you're like, I like Snatch, I'm like, you don't know shit. Watch Lock, Stock, Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah, well, true pictures. You know, we have this thing, Jim, every week. There, people say they're not real pictures. Si has to explain.
No, we've known Jim since we were children, a very long time. We all went to the same school, and we all started Excalibur, and yeah.
Yep.
Playing in
that pesky mind wipe around 2000. It just,
I'll never forgive him. All those pictures, cheers, Lauren. Let's face it, Shabby buying dolls is more embarrassing than supporting Everton. You know what?
I agree, Kieran.
There's some scumbags. That's all I'm saying. There's some scumbags. It's a man when he's low. Which one?
There were two Motu pictures: Man at Arms and Beast Man.
You see, trying to catch him out there, Kieran. It's not going to work. Another cracking gallery. Cheers, Arcana. Brilliant photos. Says Lagos. The photo photos. Brilliant. Yeah, awesome. But anyway, listen, we're doing all this, Gavin. We've talked about mixtapes. We've talked about food. We've talked about 10 questions, seen a gallery. But what we're really here for is to see what Jim's got. So let me make our Jim big and show us what you've got on, Jim.
All right. So I want to do things a little bit differently because I don't talk enough about the other things that I collect other than toys. So I'm going to use this show as a platform to do that.
Help yourself.
All right. Here's the very first DVD that I ever bought.
Castaway.
Yeah.
And this is the exact copy. It's in great shape because I never watch it. But I was at a Sam's Club. We had just gotten a DVD player, and I saw this for the right price, and I said, I'll watch a guy yelling at a ball for 2 hours. Sure.
What is your favorite movie of all time, Jim?
It's in this list, so I will tell you when it comes up.
Oh,
in the meantime, I'll tell the second runner-up would be Lethal Weapon.
Oh,
so my very first Blu-ray that I ever got, Dawn of the Dead, and this is the original film, of course. It's a great reference piece. It's got a great sound mix. The colors are vivid in it. But this is a mandatory film. If you have even a passing interest in horror effects or zombies in general, and you haven't seen this, you need to get this. That's a big one. That's one for the shelf, mate. All right. Now, in 1989, when I got a Nintendo later than most kids, I had saved up to get one, and my parents got me a Nintendo just because I'd done well in grades that term. So I got to turn around and use my money for whatever I wanted. So I bought games. The first games I ever bought were Ninja Gaiden for the NES.
Oh, you remember that site? Yeah.
Great game.
Yeah, it's arguably my favorite video game of all time.
Now we finally get to see Jim's belly button Link collection. You never know.
Right.
He's sure what he likes.
And Operation Wolf.
Yeah.
I love the
in
arcade.
Blackpool, Jim. We still have the arcade machine in Blackpool, the original one, the 2-player Operation Wolf still here.
Nice. Yeah, there was a newer, a new take on Operation Wolf. It was supposed to come out for the Switch last year, and it just went away. Like their pre-order just poofed. I don't think they're making it anymore. So I'm going to close out this part of the physical media with two things. This is a little Canadian movie called The Vindicator. All right. Now, this was kind of like Terminator ripoff, but also it was meant to be like a new update to the Frankenstein monster telling. Now, this is a tape that I bought used from the grocery store that I worked at, and I rented this tape a bunch in the years leading up to working there. And when this went up for sale, I snatched it up. This is something that most people don't catch. I covet this very much because even though it's my own, it's like, oh, I love this. I cherish this. It's very hard to find. Very hard to find.
Have you heard of it, Si? I've never heard of it.
No.
It's really good. One of my favorite lines from that film, God damn it, I'm not Carl. I don't know who I am. I'm a machine. I can't feel. I can't touch. I'm not human. Great movie. It's worth it.
I think we might have to pass the Oscar on.
Si, you should have done the other Oscar.
I think I've done the Oscar thing too early.
Yeah.
Really. Now, this is my favorite film, and I do have an original FHE pressing of it. I just couldn't find it in time. It's in a box somewhere. But Transformers the movie.
Oh, love that movie. I've got a huge poster of it. Holly Chronicles got me in there. I love it.
And I got all the paperwork inside the case as well that came with it. This is a complete. Yeah. And a fan gave this to me for free. I was so happy. And then I decided.
Did you say that Transformers the movie has the ultimate 80s song of all time in it?
For sure.
With Dare.
Absolutely.
It's got to be, hasn't it? That song is so 80s.
I would go with the touch. I would go with the touch instead.
You got the touch, you got the power.
Yeah, and I'm also biased because the last movie that I was in for the Game Chasers called Adventures in Game Chasing.
Yeah.
We actually got a song for the movie by Stan Bush. He wrote a song for the film.
Brilliant.
Yes. So for those of you that are fans, go seek out Adventures in Game Chasing on Amazon.
I love the game chases. I like the way they do the toy chases. I've watched them for years. Those blokes, absolute years. So.
Yeah, I moved to this city specifically to hook up with them and be in the movie.
Did you?
Mm-hmm.
Amazing.
Redneck Chris, Billy's cousin, was the one that was like, "You have to come up here. You are clearly one of us. Come here, come here, come here." And I did. And within 3 weeks, I was on the set of that film, and it's a fun movie. Yeah. It really is. So go watch it.
Big fan.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yes.
Sorry, I missed sponsorship. Well, the This'll Do sponsored. We've got a sponsorship size. This'll do. It should have had the refund, Tommy T. I'm with you, Si. The touch is great, but for me, Dare is a better song.
I love Dare. It's a brilliant movie.
I got was Blade, swapped it for an Austin Powers movie. Nice. F. The Game Chasers.
That's Melvor for you.
Yeah,
I love Melvor.
Brilliant.
So,
brilliant.
This is the last thing I have that's right here, and this would be a sealed package of beverage napkins of Masters of the Universe.
Wow,
talking my language there, Jim. Look at that.
Yeah, beverage I never get to show it off. It's on display in the living room. The guy had a couple of them. And they came from different sources because they all had different price tags on them.
Yeah.
And this is from a store called Ames, which was big in the Northeast when I was a kid. So for me, it was just like, well, I have to get this one. And he gave me a hell of a deal.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah, I love that thing. So as far as what I'm showing off here, the tradition here on the show is you have a tub or a box you bring out, like, here's all my, and you could stage it with like some of the things you don't have in the display or whatever. I know some people stage. I wasn't going to. I have a tub in there. I was like, I haven't seen those toys in 2 years. I'm going to get it out. Well, as I may show later, there's a pile of cascading toys blocking my.
Yeah, it's getting a bit busy in there, Jim. To be honest, I remember a couple of months back, it didn't look like that. Do you know what I mean? Look at it. It's getting. I like your new structure though. You've done it the same way I do with all the shelves and stuff with all lights in. It's nice. I like it.
When we move in October. I'm going to have a, what was it, like 18 by 40 foot garage to use. So we're going to get more shelves. Yeah, I'm never opening these napkins. But so.
Oh, do you fancy moving all that you've got to move? Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this is just one room. So to in the spirit of things, I said, well, I can't get to the tub. And I wasn't going to like pick through these piles of toys. And I said, here's something I've never done. People have been asking for this for a long time. And although this is not the final form of the display, we're going to do a live display tour right now. So we're going to go shelf by shelf.
Exclusive.
Yeah. So I'm starting with this top shelf here. On the left it's because you have all the 5 different units. And on the left is kind of a hodgepodge. So there's just a bunch of stack of boxes, which I can show here in a second. But I've zoomed in to show my Studio One Unicron.
Yeah,
my core class, which I think that's a nice scale to fix. I would love it if Unicron was a bit bigger, but hey, for the price, you can't beat it. I was a huge fan of it. I mean, obviously, a guy like me is gonna have a Unicron, right? And then I have the Firehouse from Ghostbusters, which was gifted to the channel by my buddy Billy Wifta. Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures. And all of the Ghostbusters are there. They're all the reissues, including the Ecto-1. But I had to restore the Firehouse with some 3D printed parts. I do have all the original parts. I just choose to use the 3D ones because they're more sturdy. So that Ghostbusters sign is an actually 3D.
I was just about to ask that because they're very hard to get hold of with that sign on, aren't they? So brilliant. It looks awesome.
I have the original sign as well. I just decided I wanted something a bit nicer. And then, of course, you have the Wolfman from Wave 3, I want to say wave 2 or 3. He came out as he's kind of hanging out there. And most interesting to me about this, aside from everything else, is that we put the firehouse up there, and then I started handing Lauren things. I'm like, put this together, put that there, make it look nice. She staged the entire firehouse. And to her credit, nothing has moved since. Now, anything I've staged, shit falls over all the time.
It's such a cool toy, though, isn't it? The firehouse. Look at it. It's like,
yeah, it is
brilliant. Yeah.
I love the thing to death, and it's not horribly expensive these days to get a hold of. You're talking maybe $200 complete, something like that, which is not horrible given its relative rarity of it being in the right condition. Plus, if you get one that's actually a shell, 3D printed parts for almost everything. The only thing that gets a bit expensive is the containment unit. That's the hard part.
That's the red box that goes to the bottom, isn't it? There. Yeah.
Right. And it's in there. I have the whole thing, and it's all done up or whatever. I love the thing, and I can't wait till we're in a larger space where I can dedicate more to each toy line. But I'm kind of, as you'll see, I'm kind of mashing stuff together with this. Actually, I should show you this part. This is fun.
So for Christmas, it's good fun. This.
So for Christmas, my wife got me a DJI gimbal. So I can just move the old camera a little bit. There we go. I'll zoom in a little bit there, a little more, which is going to be easier by just doing this.
Kieran says, what GrindHead Jim doesn't know is that Lauren superglued all those Ghostbusters figures into place.
You know something? It wouldn't surprise me, to be perfectly honest. But all right, so this is the turtle shelf.
Yeah.
So everything here, and I do mean everything, is a reissue of some kind. There's nothing vintage on this shelf. So that's the reissued Technodrome, the reissued Party Wagon. I got a Mutant Mayhem. Don't tell. Sorry about that. And then I also have the Motu Turtles crossover shredder there, which I'm told if you put the Triple H Masters of the WWE Universe armor on him, he looks more like Shredder, which I need to do.
Oh, right. Okay. I'll make a note of
that.
So,
like, just kind of, I wanted a shredder that didn't have osteoporosis. Shoot me. But you'll notice it's difficult to see probably from the distance, but all of the turtles here are the reissued ones with the updated joints. And so forth.
What do you think of the reissues? Because I got the Ghostbusters, I got the Turtles, I've got a few reissues, and I don't mind having them. I'm a fan of them, you know. So
I mean, for me, it's a way of guaranteeing I've got a complete toy, because for me, it's about the representation. It doesn't have. 100%. I really don't care if it's the original one, because it doesn't really. So the person that walks into my room and says, "Oh, this is a reissue," I'm like, it's still a turtle, and it represents. This is for me. This is so that I can see what I want. This is not for you. You know, I like sharing it, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not a thing. So
thanks, Christian.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
So with the recent announcement that the sewer layer is getting reissued, which I will get, I am unsure of how I'm going to link everything together, because the Mutant Mayhem playset is really top notch, and I don't want to get rid of it. So that's going to be a challenge that we eventually rise to, hopefully. Let me just pull the camera back.
What about the new mask? Are you going to get that?
Yeah, my wallet hates me for it, but yeah.
I am. I'm well on for that, definitely. So every time I go to Joe Fest every year, I pick up a vintage one. But when I saw them, I thought I won't be doing that anymore.
I mean, for the relative money, the only thing that might give me a bit more of a tinge would be if, like, because there's a problem possibly with the licensing of the names of the actual vehicles. So
there was two of them. There was two of them.
At least
actually say the names, didn't they? Joe Toy Fest. But yeah, I noticed that myself.
So if they manage to get that licensing through, then it's a no problem at all, you know. But otherwise, it's just like
this Jimbo Army in the chat. Hail to the panel, the one and only licensed GrindHead. Oh, cheers! Just another maniac, Martin. This is awesome. Everybody's turned up. It's like two worlds colliding our side. It's awesome. I love this.
So I can just kind of, just because we're already here, that's my CD collection, and it goes all the way to the floor. Whoop, gotta go the other way. And that's every CD I've ever bought. So it's like, it's as far down as it goes, but there's 8 shelves of CDs. It's a lot. Got some Playmates Godzillas there. Got a Guatemalan skull that Largo sent over. Obviously, for those of you that have already guessed, that's where Eternia lives right now. The big fucker at the bottom.
Yeah.
Dragonflies on top of it. The Playmates reissue Voltron's next to it. And then I think that other box, the smaller one, is the Undertaker 2-pack with Gobbledygook.
So you do the same as me inside, Jim. You dabbling up everything. There's always something, because I've seen Indiana Jones there, to Transformers, to Turtles. It's the same as our rooms, basically. Si, look at this.
I suppose nostalgic-wise, though, we had it dead lucky. Because look at the big hits we had as kids. We had so many big hits, didn't we? So,
yeah. Christian, that's a lovely thing to say, my friend. So thank you very much for that. Gap says, Jim, what kind of shelves are you using to display? They look nice.
These are utility shelves that I got through a company called Wayfair. You can get these anywhere. They're about 65 quid a pop.
That's not bad at all.
No, and that's why I got them. I got them in blue because blue is kind of my background color. It has been for a long time.
And it's the color of Everton's football shirt, Jim. That's why you got it, right?
No, absolutely not. So this, of course, is Motu. So we're going to go across those 3 shelves, and then I'll probably come down. I actually physically have to bring the tripod down because I don't know if you could see before, but the phone is like a foot above my head right now. But so we've got, this is all Origin stuff, and this is not all of my stuff by any stretch of the imagination. There's so much stuff stacked on the floor to be open, whatnot. But you've got your Castle Grayskull, obviously, and a few vehicles and some odd sods and bits and bobs, as they say.
See Crystal Castle there, brilliant. My kind of guy, Jim.
I'm missing one piece off that fucker, and I thought I had it. I actually got duplicates of one of the windows, and I thought I had both. So I have to.
Oh, actually, well, I might have a spare. I've got loads of spare pieces. I've got 2 of them, and I've got loads of spare. So I'll have a look through, and if I do, I'll send it to you.
Appreciate it. I'll let you know which one I'm actually missing.
Okay.
So that way we're not wasting anything. And I got some doubles of parts as well if anyone needs them. So, but obviously there's your Crystal Castle, bunch of stuff. I think notable on that shelf is the Funko Savage Lands kind of vibe they were doing with the pinhead right there in the center, right by Cringer. Let me zoom in on that, make it easier. So right, that black figure in the kind of the center of the shelf. That's
right
a
there,
pinhead from
right
Hellraiser. Yeah.
How cool is that? Yeah, can you see
Yeah,
that right in the middle?
Yeah.
And they
Great
did
question.
Freddy Krueger, they did Leatherface, Jason Voorhees, and him, and I got all those, and those are the only ones from that line that I got. Just
what those stands you using for your Motu there, Jim?
The most of those are by a guy named DJ the Man.
Right.
I did a review for them on the site or on YouTube, and I also 3D print my own as well. So
awesome.
So now we'll go over to
Steve says same shelves I use. Yes, you've got. I was thinking when I saw these shelves at Lord Melvard, I was thinking of you. You've got that same look, haven't you? Yeah, exactly right. Christian says, Shabby, what's your favorite Super Mario character from the movie? I liked at the end when you saw Yoshi. I thought that was pretty cool. Hey, G-Force.
In Mario, even Mario Kart, it's Toad's always been my favourite. Always been Toad on Mario Kart, yeah.
Were you well informed the Motu Origins from the beginning, Jim?
More or less, because I started collecting in July of 21.
Right.
And that was right after the exclusive window had expired for Walmart.
Right.
And I just started getting right away. I was a bit frantic at first because some of the waves were very notoriously hard to get.
Yeah, they were. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But I went through and I paid a little more than I should have for some stuff, and I got right around market value for other stuff. And I wanted to stay caught up so I wouldn't have to go back and scramble for certain things. So this is both a Origins Snake Mountain and a Vintage Snake Mountain. The Vintage one is going to go in a bin because in a tub. To be fair, I'm not going to throw it away. I have no use for it now. The Origin one's existing means I don't need the other one. It's just it just is taking up space.
Yeah, but it looks cool together like that, though, Jim.
It does, and I might end up doing a clamshell display with it, but I don't know yet. I would almost rather get a second Origins one to display the two together. But
yeah, it's a cool one.
Exactly. And then, of course, you see my overload of Skeleton Warriors, Lady Slither, and King Hiss, and so forth. Again, this is just what I had out already. And then other stuff's getting opened along the like for example, buried behind me are 2 Duplicos and but basically almost every Mattel Creations figure is still in the box for the most part. But
did you not open them? I didn't open the ones that were sealed at the start, but when they started doing it with the card that comes out the back, I started opening them.
I opened them all from the start.
Right. Okay.
I always open them when they arrive, and then I will put them back in the box until I have a space for them. Because you can see, space is rather at a premium.
Yeah.
On these shelves, even as big as they are, there's still a lot of stuff. So I'm gonna actually turn that off for a second, so I can actually move it to get it closer to these other shelves for you.
So G4 says he's oogling Jim's superpower stuff, but yeah, I saw that Hall of Justice.
We'll get there. We'll get there. I promise.
Would have thought it would be a princess speech for you.
Pride and joy. Right there.
Unbelievable. Hey, Matt's Collection. Sorry I'm late. Some moron designed a chainsaw on a stick and I had to buy it for treat. Did you do a good job, Matt? Did you do a good job? Brilliant. To be fair, the use factor of all our collections is questionable. It gets used as a dust catcher. You're right. It's a nightmare, isn't it? Absolute nightmare.
Yeah.
And have you always noticed, right? Someone will say to you, "Oh, do you want to come on and show your collection?" You haven't dusted it for ages, and you're like, "Oh, okay."
Well, like just before we came on, some of this got knocked over, and I got really pissed off. Poor Lauren. Wasn't mad at her. I was just mad at the situation. So this is a bit on the blurry side. But, and I apologize for that. I can't get this damn version of the camera to focus. But you do see all the adventure series, Indiana Jones stuff is there.
Yeah.
I've only got unboxed the Indy. I've got the Belloc and Brody. And there's just a shitload of Leonard aliens and Predator stuff, most of which I got from Gojatron because he was getting rid of those and he gave me a good price. So thank you to him. There's a bunch of box Marvel Legends back there, which I have to fish out. It's like the next phase of getting the collection going. Now we get to Voyager class Transformers. This is growing. Like back in the day, I said I wouldn't collect Transformers, but yet here we are. Oh, I see a question on the screen here.
The 86 line is the one I do on them. That's the one I specifically stick to. So
I what are your thoughts? A little bit within scale. My thoughts on Mattel. So I do have an entire video on my channel where I paired up with Mega J Retro. We talked about it at length, but the short version, Mattel getting back DC Comics, I think only could be a good thing. Because if you look at the quality of figures they're doing with WWE right now, I think it bodes very, very well for 1/12 scale. You look at what they've done in the past in terms of quality was quite good. As long as they don't go to some weird membership model, I think we're going to be fine. As far as and yes, I'm keeping all my McFarlane superpowers. And there was an interview with him a couple weeks back where he said there were some aspects of the deal that were still in flux, and they might be able to continue to do some DC things. And I think that he was heavily hinting that he'll keep superpowers because I don't think Mattel has any interest in that.
Jim, do you have any Battlestar Galactica or Star Trek in the collection? Says Gap.
I don't have any Battlestar Galactica at all. And if I did collect Battlestar Galactica, I would collect stuff from the reboot because I prefer that show. As far as Star Trek goes, I've got a lot of TNG and DS9 stuff.
Just another Manic Martin says, this is for everybody. This toy collector or box collector. What are you? Just toys need to be free. I'm open in most cases, except for superpowers. and Black Series. Everything else I open. What about you? So you keep it all closed, don't you, Si? You?
I haven't opened a thing in about 25 years.
I open everything. I just haven't gotten around to opening everything.
Oh,
So
brilliant.
that's my problem. You know,
Bit of both, should we say?
Bit of both.
Well, I would say less than 10% of my stuff is intended to stay in the box at all. But I do keep boxes for all the Motu Origin stuff. I'm keeping the boxes. But when it's something where, like, say, a troop build or something, I keep one box. I don't keep all the boxes. I keep one. I throw the rest.
I can't remember if you said it. Or does your Lauren collect, Jim?
Yes. She collects a little bit of Barbie.
Nice.
And we've recently got her into the Toy Biz Lord of the Rings line. Which
Right. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Another question for you there, Jim. Very popular tonight, my friend.
All right. New mask line. In short, I think it's a great idea. I think it's overdue, frankly. Looking at what they've done with it, they've done enough of an update to it to where it's like, okay, it might interest people that, for example, say a boxed collector that doesn't want to open their vintage stuff can display the boxed version and then get the newer one and do it along with. So I think that's a plus. As someone who has no interest in paying the aftermarket prices, even after the new old stock was found, it's a no-brainer for me. I'm all in. I still think the prices are a bit too high, but I understand why they probably are as high as they are. If the first wave sells well, I would not be surprised if the second wave and further reissues went down in price a little bit, because they're taking a big risk with this.
He's saying that also. Do you think young kids will like it, Si? I think they will. What do you reckon?
I'm not saying that they won't, but
yeah.
But
he's saying that in its side. It's definitely.
How would a child find out about it, though? That's the thing. How would a child find out about this?
Never going to find it, is he? So
yeah.
Yeah,
it's just, I go around my towns and stuff, and when I was a kid, I used to always have a figure in my hand. Always took a figure out with me, no matter what. Yeah. And I look at children with the mums and dads today and stuff like that. No kid has a figure in their hand or anything. They're more interested in running into the game shop, seeing what new games are out, what's on Minecraft, what skins they can download. It's I don't know.
Different world,
it's a different ball game now. Different world.
Mr. B-Side says, we just found about 12 trunks in my mum's attic filled with box Barbies. Oh, I guess she's on season 4 of Tub Thumpers. Mr. B, awesome.
There you are. Mr. B,
well, if you don't want them, get a hold of me.
Is that a vintage Millennium Falcon older your shoulder, Jim?
Yes and no, and we will show it here. I have to grab that, but it's a Power of the Force. So it's vintage, but it's not original. So
yeah.
Well,
still vintage enough.
It's over 30 years now, isn't it? 95, was it? 96? So no media for kids to discover mask. Yeah, I suppose you're right. Wait until Shabby reads your comment, Mr. B. I've just found it right there. Awesome. Look at that. Yeah. We're debating where to bring them. I bet you are. Are they all vintage ones as well, Mr. They will be, won't they, if they're found in your mum's attic? That's awesome. I have that same.
Marie's ears just pricked up.
Yeah, when we get to the Star Wars shelf, I might piss some people off. So I'm just going to say that right up front.
Jim, your opinion is valid on this show.
Don't you worry about that. Yeah.
I appreciate that. So we'll
believe you me, I do.
Right. So I've done mostly Studio 86 here, but I mix and match a little bit just to make sure I get the best version of the character I can get at the time for the price.
Yeah.
So obviously, if it isn't clear, I'm going for the main cast of the film, and that's it. I've had to pick and choose over the years, but I'm getting to a point where I can go back. They're finally reissuing the Dinobots, so I can start kind of from the ground up with them. And I was hoping when they reissued, the price would be lower. Nope, it's higher. So a single figure for $55, $65, I think, is ridiculous.
100% agree. 100% agree. Mm-hmm.
That said, I'm not paying any less if I get a third party that's any good. No. So it's at this point where, with my collection in general and my philosophy about collecting anything, and this doesn't just apply to toys, there's a certain line up to which I will say, I don't like how much this costs. But I also go, I may not like how much this costs, but this is the only way to get that thing. I'm gonna be 48 this year, and I'm not on my deathbed. I won't be like, wow, I'm so glad I stood up to Hasbro. Now I want the fucking Dinobots in my collection, and I'm gonna get them. So that's how I look at this stuff a lot.
There's a fine line, though, isn't there? It's like, is it worth waiting to see if they go down to like $35, or are they all just going to disappear? It's a fine line, isn't it, to certain things, like especially Dinobots. Do you know what they're going to go to?
They did. I got 3 of them, but I always play the waiting game. Wait till it goes down, and it feels like they go up more than they go down for them.
Yeah, I mean, Claire bought Taz one for Christmas, and I was looking at the swoop this year, and they're like Jim says, they're £55. Do you know what I mean? They're not cheap.
Yeah.
No,
here we go.
Aren't. I mean, hang on, we'll move. I'm just gonna move the whole thing. So try not to get anyone motion sickness now.
You're doing good. You're doing very good.
Did you carry on with that Dinobot line, Mark, or did you just patch it in with them for a bit?
Yeah, but I do the thing about it. I've always had the assumption that toys are toys, and I think they price some people out, and they especially price kids out. You know, mum and dads aren't buying $50, $60 Transformers for the kids. Do you know what I mean? So I always think
same ones anyway.
No, exactly. So I always wait.
Well, that's what it goes back to what you just said about the mass figures. You're not going to buy them and pass them over to children at that price. You're not going to do it from to smash up with
for $250 for the wave.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But here we go, lots of Star Wars. So everything here, in terms of figures that you can see right now, is vintage collection. I think that, and again, this is my personal opinion for my collection. If you buy something different, that's totally okay. But if within the same price point, because they are now, if I can get a more articulated, more detailed version of a character, I'm going to go after that before I go after the nostalgia of the 5-point. Yeah. So the retro line kind of missed me at that time. So I just went with the vintage collection stuff. It's a bit more sparse, but that's okay because I'm not looking to get every goddamn character in the film set.
You pick and choose which ones you like, Jim.
Yes. So I started off saying I'm going to get something that's Bespin accurate because I was originally going to get that Bespin play set that Joe was putting out. Yeah. And he's not doing that anymore. So I decided I'm still going to do that, but and people started sending me stuff too. So I bought these vehicles, and I'm going to show like the TIE Fighter and stuff. Oh yeah, TVC is definitely a collector's line. I don't think it was ever like when you have the word collection in your branding, right there. Typically in today's day and age, like who they're targeting, for sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Only one, hey pal.
Yeah, only one Kenobi.
Yeah,
good
maybe
stuff,
it is.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jim. Says Matt's collection. All the vintage Star Wars in my collection are all my childhood toys.
I wish that I had that option. The only toys I have that survived growing up are these 2 Toy Biz Spider-Man and Venom figures I have in front of me. They're not on camera. Everything else got either sold or given away.
Yeah.
And 99% of it was not my choice. So everything I have is a rebuy. And again, I've only started collecting since July 21. So everything you see here is from that period on.
Whoa, right, okay. I mean, the thing is about that. I mean, that Falcon's the same mold as the old vintage Kenner one anyway. Just
exactly.
Upgrade, so it's the same thing.
And I looked at the newer ones and I said they're not bringing anything new to the table, except it's going to take up more space. Yeah. So the figures are upgraded. They fit the aesthetic. And again, this is where we're getting some dodgy stuff, but you can't really see because it's all covered up. But there is a little bit more. Oh, is that as far down as it goes? All right, well, let's do this. Fuck you.
I'll tell you what, I did love that X-Men 97 Nightcrawler. That was a beast, that.
Oh, yeah. That was like one of those, if I don't get it, it's going to go away. But you have the blue tie in there, which is always my favorite one. I think the white one is faff. And then you have the Cloud City Cloud Car. I think I have one of the pilots floating around. I need to get a second one. That Power of the Force Bosk was a gift from my buddy Lax Sivarak. And I'm kind of in this weird place where I have a very limited number of Black Series figures, and they're all kind of tucked away because they're going to go, when we move, my office will be separate from my toy room. The office will have more of the, quote, nice, unquote, toys.
Yeah.
So all the Black Series is going to go, but that keeps getting bigger and bigger, you know. But I also want to go a bit crazier with the stuff. But this is all kind of a mishmash, which I don't mean for it to be. Same can be said for like the shelf that's below here. If I were to move those turtles, you can see a bunch of Marvel Legends and then box stuff all the way to the back.
It's a great
I can show
collection.
you glimpses of things, but
Chasing 80s, Chris at Chasing 80s said, enjoying this live collection tour, GrindHead Jim. It's brilliant. I love it. Yeah. It's doing great.
Yeah. Let me go ahead and also show off the superpower stuff because people have been asking.
Yeah, now we're talking. DC side, size favorite.
So,
why do we all end up with that pile like that? There's every month is at least a little pile in there like that. Everyone, I know in that chat, you, Mark, you, Jim, just there. Everyone has that little pile, don't they? They just...
If I threw my camera down, I've got the same.
I have a drag upstage and look at this little pile.
Yeah,
like it's bloody Christmas once a month.
Look at that. That's awesome.
In a lack of defense of other people that end up with this pile,
yeah,
it's simply a matter of most days. It's like, do we go in the toy room and work and get sweaty, or do we just sit around and have a laugh? And I'd rather spend that time with my wife in that way rather than, you know, doing this stuff. Because you guys might recall, I revealed this display last year on Stu's last year's Give Kids the World Village Marathon. And we did it that day. Like we just
so cool.
Just grabbed shit off the shelves and started pulling tubs out and whatnot. So this is obviously a mishmash of McFarlane and vintage, mostly vintage. And there is a Iwo Jima G.I. Joe thing hanging out there because I didn't have another place to put it at the moment. The Brainiac there is a new addition. I have a Brainiac and his arm's off. And I just haven't got around to fixing it. And I found an overall better total upgrade, paint upgrade, shine upgrade. The joints were tighter and the arm works. Yeah. So I said, for $50, I'll put in the money, which for these days, a Brainiac for $50 is a steal.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. And then the Trouble Alert is paper goods, which Bill from Weird Fantastic Toy Adventures created.
That's
and then
super
he made
cool.
one for me. I said, you can download it on his blog and put it together yourself. Doesn't cost you nothing. It's beautiful.
Man, nice guy to do that.
Yeah, it's just a great set in it. Look at it. It just looks awesome like that. Love the colors of him. Brilliant.
And I have enough parts to make multiples of Hall of Justice and the Darkseid Destroyer. If you're missing a ramp or a landing pad for the Hall of Justice, I probably have one I can spare. One of those guys. This, of course, is Wave 2 stuff, a little bit floating in there, some boxes from the other stuff. I just got some repro stickers because I'm going to re-sticker that Darkseid Destroyer, but I have to look at my spare fuselage to see if maybe it's in better condition. I don't know yet.
Yeah. Jim Largo says super groovy stuff at GrindHead quarters. There is. It's brilliant.
Yeah.
Love it. I really
And you
appreciate you doing this for me inside as well. This is really nice of you to do this. It's awesome.
It's fun for me because I don't get to actually talk about it so much. Because I've been and my viewers can attest to this. I have been saying I'll do a tour when it's done, and it's been so not done for 2 years. So it's one of those. Yeah.
I'm the same way.
So,
I've made loads of it. I'm up to 350 videos on this one today, and I've never done a room tour. But I've got loads of pictures and videos together. So my next stream, I think I might just do a room tour. But I'm the same way as you, Jim. I just got into talking and never really showed anything behind me. You know.
Well, I will show you an app you can use if you want to put your phone on a tripod and do what I've been doing, so you can stay by your desk and still do it.
Yeah, that might
it's
be
called
a good idea.
IV Cam. It's really good.
Yeah,
and it's saving me a lot of back pain. I'll tell you. So what you cannot see on the left is the Batcave set from the Batman movie. Got it on sale for like $15 at a Target. And I was like, that's perfect. And you have a vintage Batmobile, the McFarlane Batmobile, and a 3D printed mock-up of an unproduced phone booth Metropolis piece.
That's awesome. See with Clark Kent side there.
That's I was waiting for you to get to that because I was like, what is that?
Yeah. and that's something they didn't make. And then you have there was like a Mr. Freeze place that they were gonna do, and then they turned it into like a toxic waste thing for the animated series or something, and then it went back to Mr. Freeze. There's a bunch of Kenner stuff that was going to be superpowers. They ended up rolling into the Dark Knight collection and the animated series stuff. I just got a Kenner Batcave as well. Hey, Badger.
Oh, great.
Lord Mavalda says, Jim, I use hooks which have a sticky backing. They can hold pots and pans to walls from Amazon and stick them underneath them shelves, because he's got the same shelves as you, Jim, to display carded figures on the shelf below.
What I would do is use those same hooks to hang fishing line so that things can fly. That's what I would do.
Nice.
And then
nice.
To wrap up like the shelving part of the tour.
Yeah.
Whoop, back down. Okay, can't quite.
What do you think, Si? It's impressive, isn't it, mate?
Yeah, great collection.
So
but again, it's like this is the sort of stuff I love, when everything's just everywhere. So it's great to look at everything, isn't it? It's brilliant.
You love that, yeah.
Pre-sorted,
I got the super mega dinosaurs. There's a bunch of Jurassic stuff sitting there. It's got to move. It really needs to move. But it is there. So now I'm going to pull the camera back and I'm going to grab the gimbal here. And I'm just going to show you the pile. But I got to get it off the tripod first. So I feel like people need to, you know, the whole, we need to normalize this and that. We need to normalize having a fucking unopened toy pile. That's what we need to do. So,
Mr. B said it's surprising they never made a phone booth for Superman. You know what? That is surprising, because you've seen it practically every movie, isn't it? Him changing in a phone box, you know.
Well, the fact of the matter is that by the time superpowers kind of petered out, they just didn't have the market share anymore for whatever reason.
Hey, Gups, nice to see you, pal. Good old Guppy's here, brilliant.
So now, if I just click back over.
Are you enjoying YouTube, Jim? You enjoying doing it?
YouTube? I've been doing it for my first YouTube video went up in 2006. So
really, what?
Yeah, I've been around, dude. So yeah, I enjoy it. So this is my side desk, which is just a right mess. And usually I put recent acquisitions right by me, which is really. I say it's because they're special. It's like, no, it's because I just haven't found a place for them on the shelf yet.
Yeah.
You know, but like that Spider-Man will always be there because he's a spare. And then this the ceramic statue was sent to me by Jim Largo. Quite a while back, and
That's awesome.
Proudly display here. This is a 3D printed Buddha-zilla.
I like how he's surrounded by Care Bears, that drummer.
Yeah, I love Care Bears. If you don't like Care Bears, fuck off. You know, that's always been my thing.
Yeah.
Like that. People talk about Barbies and masculinity. I say, well, look, Care Bears are just as much of a victim of that shit. So,
good thing Matt Murdoch can't see what a mess it is. Mesco 5 Points made a nifty 1940 Superman set with a Clark and phone booth. Right, okay, Jim. Jim, are those your Care Bears? Says Gap.
Yep, proudly.
Look at that side.
Yeah, men.
Masterverse.
Let me pull back here. Sorry about the motion sickness there. Hey, see you guys. Okay. So this is why I couldn't get to the closet, which is right there.
Did you pre-order your Spider-Man 77, Jim?
Oh, are you kidding me? Of course. I have a T-shirt to commemorate the event too.
The event. Oh. It's awesome, man.
And then you got this corner where there's not as much stuff, but it's there.
Lady Slither's box right there. That was a cool box.
Oh, the Lady Slither? Oh,
yeah. That was awesome. Great backdrop look as well. Huh?
You see this box right here that has like the fluff at the top.
Yeah.
That is full of bagged Next Generation figures.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like brilliant. That. It do be like that sometimes.
A Big Badger said that closet also holds a lot of gold.
It does. It really does. Some of his stuff is in there. A lot of my stuff is in there too.
Hugh says, "Holy shit, that's an amazing collection of stuff. Jim definitely needs a bigger collection room." Yeah, are you looking forward to moving then and getting it all set out, Jim? Yeah.
Oh yeah, and it's kind of like we're first going to this townhouse condo that we have, and we're doing it up, hopefully doing it justice, right? And then we're going to buy a larger house that has a larger space. Like most of the spaces we're looking at are somewhere in the 20 foot by 30 foot range, minimum for toys. We'll build if we have to. Like we're dedicated to this stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
But when that time comes, when we buy that house that's a bit bigger, it's going to go a little bit nuts with the display at that point. Where like I already have things planned out as far as how I'm going to display Eternia and everything else. We already got like the big stuff, right?
Yeah.
But then there's going to be stuff that comes along the way that I can't anticipate. Like I got a Manzinger Z this year that I wasn't expecting to get. And I don't really know how I'm going to display him at this point.
I just did it on if I make myself bigger, Sack, I'll show you what I did with my turn. All my Motus in this corner, and I just had to put it on two big tables there. I
actually am looking at 3 or 4
massive.
because I've got you figure I've got Eternia, Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, Crystal Castle. Then we know the Fright Zone is coming out already.
Yeah,
so
I can't wait for that.
You got to future proof yourself to a certain degree. It's a little bit maddening, but I love it all the same.
Jim needs a TARDIS, bigger on the inside. Yeah. What Jim needs is a collection castle the size of Taj Mahal to display all this stuff. I mean, bigger room, more shelving. Sounds pricey, says G.
Well, that's the thing. One of the things we're doing with a larger place is I'm going to have a wood shop. I'm going to build a lot of my own shelves.
Oh, awesome. Question for Jim. If you could blow up one toy to life-size proportions, what toy would it be and why would it be Grayskull? It would.
The question is it still a toy or is it functional? So I have 2 answers. If it's just a toy that's just going to sit there, and I could do it to life-size proportions, I didn't have to already have the land or anything like that. I'm building the Eternia playset.
Eternia? You go that way?
Yeah. Yeah, because it's even more rare because everyone says Castle Grayskull, right? Runner-up would probably be the Hall of Justice. Because that's my favorite collection. For those that have watched me long, they know like that's the prized shit. Like that's the stuff, in a fire. Awesome. If I had to pick a toy line, that would be the one.
You wouldn't have this problem.
Yeah, well,
you wouldn't have this problem.
But here's the thing. He's omitting is that he is part of the reason I have too much stuff. Because he's so generous and sends me so much great shit. Some of it is downsizing from his collection. Others like, hey, I know you need this. And he's awesome, and I love it, and I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because he's literally downsizing. He does all micro machines.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, we're big fans of Epic Badgers. Like, we're big fans of Jesse. He's awesome.
Without going into detail, it's not my business to go into detail. When we move, we will be within driving distance of him. So we're going to be hopefully collaborating and seeing each other quite a bit more.
That's awesome because there's a list I'll give you for stuff to steal from his house. So that.
I'm looking at that room, Jim. I think you might need quite a bit of help to shift all that stuff. So yeah, if you live near him,
come on, side.
Give you a hand, can't we? Yeah.
Let's get over to GrindHead Jim, man. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the fact of the matter with that is that I'm packing all the toys. I'm packing them. But then we're hiring movers for everything. I'm not doing the U-Haul thing, nothing like that. I'm spending the money. I'm not doing it.
Did Jim take shop class in high school? And B, does Jim still have all his fingertips?
I took shop in middle school, and I don't think it was even available in high school for me unless you went to the vocational technical school, which I was really mad at. But my dad was a master woodworker, and we did all kinds of projects together. And anything that I don't know because of the foundational stuff he did teach me, it's pretty easy to pick up from YouTube and stuff. All I'm missing is the space and the tools, frankly. So, yeah, which I'm starting to collect now. Like that's the thing. People are like, "What do you do in your spare time?" I'm like, "Well, if Lauren's not in the room, or she's asleep or whatever, Often I can be found watching woodworking videos, and I'm just trying to like, what tools he using, how's he using it, and all this shit. Because I'm ready to do that stuff. And yes, I have all my fingertips. But I will tell you a story about someone who doesn't. My maternal step grandfather, Lewis Keller, dearly departed, rest in peace. I'll never forget this as long as I live. He would do woodworking, all kinds of crafting in his garage all the time because they lived on a sizable piece of land right on the riverfront. And everything there was built by hand. He built the cottage himself. He built their duck pen, everything, right? So if anything went down, he had to go fix it. So he's always cutting wood, doing something. Honestly, I think he was making up projects to stay out of his wife's hair, frankly. But so one day, I'm sitting in their cottage and I'm playing Atari or ColecoVision. I can't remember which. And I hear the door swing with a bit more urgency than normal, but not much. And I hear, "Boy, I need a Band-Aid." And she comes out. I see her and she goes, "Oh, Lord, what did you do?" And I go out there and I just see blood. He had chopped off just the tip of his finger with a circular saw. See, this is before they had those guards, and before they had those fancy ones now that if flesh touches it, it stops immediately. Yeah. Before all that shit, but he's calm as a cool as a cucumber. But and he meant that shit too. He wasn't joking. He's like, "Man, I need a Band-Aid." He really just thought he could get a Band-Aid. I'm like, "You idiot! You need stitches, cauterize it, something." I swear to Godzilla, if he had been grilling out that day. Yeah, he would have just been, just take the grate off. Like, that's the kind of dude he was. Worked on the railroad for 40 years. Kind of thing. Brilliant. Yeah.
Do you notice when you said that? I guarantee everyone in the chat, including you, so I went,
I'm sat here going like that. I know what I was doing.
Anyone knows why the
Vatican... We're built different from us.
Maniac Martin says, anyone know why the Vatican denied to display Jim's collection? Lack of space.
Well, there's also a lot of devilish shit in it too, but so that's the thing. If you're taking my collection on, you're not just taking on the toys, you're taking on the music and the films. So if you include the music and the films and the video games, there's like a ton of references to Satan and shit. And they're like, oh.
I think that's what it is for us, like, really, and especially because we're all roughly the same age, and I wouldn't regard ourselves really. We're pop culture enthusiasts. That's what we are, isn't it? It's we're the generation we all grew up in, and we're lucky, aren't we? The movies, the TV shows, the music, the toys. You know what I mean? Epic Badger says, "Shabby, just send me the Excel sheet of items you want from Jim's." There's a 50-50 chance. Gab says, back in the day, I had a tractor trailer truck full of my collectibles when I would move, but I since pared down my collection. Did you, Gab? Did you have that much stuff? Yep, I know GeForce people. That's what I do. My business is furniture too, so that's awesome. GeForce, what?
And I'll be bending your fucking ear because I'll be like, what's the best way to do this? And I like it because I can learn from a video or like from instructions, but like I like to talk things through. So knowing that you make furniture, I'm like, yeah.
GeForce as well. GeForce has made some lovely stuff. He really has. How many of us have had wood wanting a toy? Oh, I get it. I've had wood wanting a toy.
Will be for PGM? We were watching Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead, which is one of Peter Jackson's first films. Super bloody, love the thing to death. Yeah, it's all Kiwis and shit. And we had just did a marathon of Lord of the Rings before, and I'm just like, we're on PGM would just be loving us right now. There's so much stuff from his part of the world there. I thought of him.
Will there be a music studio like your drum kit, other finals, etc., in your new home, Jim?
Yep. When we move, there's not space for that. Currently, like the place we own now, which we're going to be keeping even when we move again because the income potential is better. But in the office that I will have there, I believe there's enough space for an electronic drum set, which I'll invest in. And then when we get into the 5-ever house, we always make sure there's going to be space because I'm going to set up the acoustic drum kit, the electronic drum kit, the studio stuff.
Oh, man, you're going to make it look sound. It sounds really nice what you and Lauren are going to do. It sounds awesome. Good luck to you. I wish you all the best for that. Jim, do you like Reanimator movies?
Yes, I own all of them.
What is that? I don't know what it is. What is it? Do you know, Si?
Reanimator is kind of like a gore exploitation. It's kind of what I call it, like the low budget horror stuff. It's based on an H.P. Lovecraft thing, but they did it in the mid 80s with this kind of like hyper, like to take Sam Raimi's kind of style of like sharp pans, quick cuts, stuff like that. Keep it a little bit more under control, a little less cocaine in the mix, but also having that kind of shock effect without it being too gaudy, like less comic booky, more focusing on the colors and the lighting and stuff. Watch the first one. Do not watch it with children, and do not watch it with particularly sensitive people towards the end, because
I won't be watching that. Mark won't be watching that. He won't be watching that.
Like it's not. Here's the thing: like it's gory, but it's not crazy. But there's something that is not gory that happens at the end, which I won't spoil, that would really off-put some people because you're like, wow, they went there. But it's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Oh, look at that, Mr. B. Yeah, did you see this off Mr. B? I'll just try and... Yeah, look at this, Jim and Si. When I was in construction, a female wood floor installer chopped off her thumb off on a table. So, things like that, honestly. And then Martin says, Mr. B, that saves us be a lot of money in the nail studio. Gets 20% off.
That's right.
My shower in the bathroom packed in
Literally.
yesterday. I looked at it and it said, after 32 years, you now need to decide to stop working. Well, unplug it. It's easy to do. You can do that, Steve. I was always the assembler at Christmas and birthdays. I had to put every gift together, just me and an engineering mind, I guess. Nice. Jim, I now know you probably have seen Frank and Hooker. Remember the crack scene? This is a huge crack. I have no idea what that means, Cap.
I know exactly. It's a Tim Burton thing. It's out there for sure. Not one of my favorites, but certainly one of those things where I think there's movies that are classic in the sense of kind of putting your thumb on the zeitgeist of the underground or where the culture was, and I think that's one of them. I think that a lot of 80s horror gets unfairly maligned because it was regarded as lowbrow, but a lot of that stuff, if you really look at how the stories played out, what the attitudes of the characters were, you could see a bit more progressive nature in what they were doing. For example, all your slasher films have what they call a final girl. Well, if a girl is the final person in the film and beats the slasher person, like that is very forward thinking for early to mid 80s. And it just became a trope, of course, but it speaks to certain things. There's what I'm going to be talking about this coming Monday on Monday Grind Live is this. I have a theory about why 80s and 90s nostalgia has such a specific stranglehold on the people that are involved in it, and it does revolve around media a little bit.
That sounds awesome. Well, like we've said before as well, I mean, there's 50 people here. We've had over 50 all night. So if you haven't subscribed to GrindHead Jim, link is in the description. I think someone had to put it up in the chat. But there you are. There is the collection of GrindHead Jim.
Right now.
Absolutely superb. Loved it. Now, Jim, do you like magic?
Yeah. Well, generally speaking, the term is used. Yes, I'm up for it.
Well, you sat down, which is a good thing, because prepared to get your mind blown. Si's magic of the mind. Now you've said something to me this week. What's the magic of this week, Si?
This week, I've actually returned to the eastern island of Shao-Pan for my magic. The three rings. Yeah.
The 3 rings of Shao-Pan. So for this week's magic, we're back to the Far East. Back to the Far East. So here we go. Right, go on.
these are the 3 rings of Shao Pan. These were forged by Dragon's Breath, these steel.
Right.
And as you can see, the firm steel ones, all 3. But using the power of the smoke of Shao Pan, I can attach all these steels together. Every one of them.
Here we go. Right.
So
If you think this is real magic, you're using a different kind of smoke.
Be prepared to have your mind blown, Jim.
Mind blown, Jim. Mind blown.
First one.
Oh.
Second one.
Yeah.
Just gonna get it done.
Oh.
Okay.
Look, Jim.
You can
Are you
see
re-
the seams, mate.
Oh, whoa,
It's
whoa, whoa,
total-
Jim.
Whoa, Jim. Where, Jim? No,
You're caught
Jim.
with your bloody fingers.
No, Jim. Look.
Look, Jim. Look, it's real
Look,
magic.
Jim.
I'm gonna send you over to Billy Wifta. He's a real magician, not this tripe. No.
What
This
do you mean
shit,
a real magician? A real
no. A
magician?
real magician.
Did you not just watch that, Jim?
I saw it. I've also seen piles of bullshit, and I couldn't tell much of a difference.
She's there.
I love you, Si.
Thank you.
And a Hal Jordan Green Lantern to you, sir.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Jim. Obviously, you weren't there at rehearsals, Jim. The idea is to go, wow, Si, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, rub it out, start again.
Oh, see, no one handed me the
So, Jim,
script.
what did you think, Jim?
I think that you probably overpaid for whatever it is that it really is. That's what I think.
That cost him nearly £5.
I rest my case. I rest my case.
Absolutely brilliant, Jim. Absolutely brilliant. Can Si help my ex-mother-in-law disappear? Well, Shabby, do you use those rings as a personal device? Says Gap.
I was going to say because of the theme of this show, I was like, are these the 3 cock rings of Saipan? Look, I've watched the show and I haven't heard the word cock as many times as I have today.
Well,
as far as I know.
Well, Jim, you are wrong because Chasing 80s does say Si's done it again. There is no limit to his magical powers. Amazing.
No limit.
There's no limit.
Yeah, but he's Dutch, isn't he?
Like the Sorcerer Supreme.
Well, here's the thing. Name one famous magician from the Netherlands. Name one.
Paul Daniels.
Exactly. You can't do it. Who?
Chris Mirror.
Chris Mirror.
Well, I see what you did there. Yes. These work. Name that movie.
I'm amazed by the magic. See, Donut Tony's amazed, Si. Look at this. This tribe.
There you go. There you go.
Right. So you have it, says Kat.
Thank you.
That's the same magic that's supposed to make a man a Lola. It just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. Oh dear. I win. Seen it once in a million times. I'm still awestruck. Awestruck is win. See, side. Don't let the naysayers get to your side. Don't let. Absolutely. Si, you've
Am I
outdone
getting to you?
yourself.
Am I getting to you?
Si, you've outdone yourself. Hilarious. Si concentrates as he looks for rings.
Well, I mean, even if that wasn't the case, it went completely the fuck out of camera. You could just picked up something totally different.
Oh,
And
even
they held it up.
Dogecon's like, oh, GrindHead, you cynic, scoffing at real magic. Real magic. See?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How can she post what the actual facts? Jim, how dare you suggest such things? I mean, everyone's kicking off.
Shazam.
Well,
Everyone's kicking off with Jim. Like, what's he talking about?
well, in all fairness to my very appreciated hosts, they asked for the authentic me, and that's what you're getting.
Oh, brilliant, Jim. That's utter genius. The Oriental powers are strong. Well, we did go to Shao Pan, yeah. We didn't even see Size 1 make an appearance. Oh, because we went to the Far East tonight, Coxie.
We'll need for it tonight.
Yeah, we didn't go far enough south.
You can't just it's a wand of power. You can't just wield that about willy nilly. Only comes out for.
Yeah, I was
Special
going to say,
magic.
as soon as the rings came up, I'm like, I've seen planes, trains, and automobiles. Where is he going? Like, where's he going with this? You know,
Merchandise theory.
these are the 3 rings of the Chopin. I can just hear it.
Oh God, I'm gonna.
Well, you say that, Keith Falls, but the one I picked up was actually a 70 trick set for the same price.
70 trick set.
70 trick.
So you've got 69 more magic tricks to go.
Told you,
And
I'll
it'll be
stay for
just
the
as
next
effective as the
69
number for
times.
which, and they'll be just as effective as every time that number 69 is used in practicum.
Thank you.
Well, Jimmy's the cock of the walk. Brilliant. Wait, so I didn't say magic words. Oh, brilliant. The great Soprendo. Brilliant. Have you seen that, Chris? Playing that last one. Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Big facts.
Vintage toy bush. How big was the Christmas crack in those things? Oh, brilliant.
No respect at all.
Oh, just look at it. It's just so funny. I'm making smoke disappear with both the magic.
I'll be doing that after the show. I will be doing that after the show.
Si's been doing it all night.
Well, maybe if once I'm on the Halflings Leaf on a rewatch, that'll be more fun for me to watch.
Oh, you've been absolutely brilliant tonight. I've loved it. Willy nilly only comes out. We don't want to see the willy nilly. Okay.
There you go.
And there you have it. So there is Tub Thumpers episode, part 41. Jim, what can you say, Si? You've been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
I've loved it. Absolutely loved it. What a great episode. Brilliant. We've got one more. That's it, Si. One more huge guest next week. And then that's it.
Yeah.
We're done.
Is that a fat joke?
Is that a what?
A fat joke. A huge guest? Thanks. No.
I will be honest, says Martin. With this trick, you can still make a good living in Mexico City if you also steal them folks and mobiles while they're all read it, Shabby, before you put it up. Read it before. Size magic tricks. Ages. Wait on the cover. Just jealous, Si. Jealous. Si, is the tip of your wand sensitive?
Extremely.
Yeah, that 5 to 8 is a misprint. That's how many seconds it'll last before you walk away.
So there you have it. I'm going to end with this one. Cheers, Jim, Shabby, and Si. Great stream and great chat, everyone. Take care.
Jumpy.
We will take care. Jim, like I said, if you're watching on the replay, Jim's channel is in the description, but it's been awesome. Thank you, Jim. Thank you, Si.
Yeah.
We'll see you all next week. Say good night,
Cheers.
lads. See ya.
Good night.